All right, y'all, we are back. We are back again talking about the art of self love. Yes, that's correct. We're talking about the mindset that I believe we all should master when it comes to the art of self love. So let's get straight into it. So I'm going to go through three more slides, and this one today, the one we're going to start with is surround yourself with elevation. Your circle should reflect your aspirations, cut out negative influences. So this kind of ties into the last one of the last video, which was, well, not the last one, but the second to last, the first one of the last video, which was set boundaries. Your circle should reflect your aspirations, cut out negative influences. So, you know, personally, I believe that at some point you're going to need to go through a stage of isolation so you can truly communicate with yourself and know thyself, essentially. That's to me, that's the point of self love. That's my opinion. But I also believe that even in that point of isolation, you're going to need to find or attract, I'll say, because we don't want, I'm not saying go out looking for things, looking for others to kind of fill in the void of if you feel like you're missing something. That breeds a codependent behavior. What I'm saying is cut out negative influences. That alone will attract those who need to come in your life. It makes room for those who need to come in your life, for those that you attract and on that same vibration, going through same experiences or have experienced what you're going through currently, and they can be a person that you can discuss and get wisdom from, a person you can discuss with and get wisdom from. Your circle should reflect your aspirations. So I can't remember who said it. Probably was Nipsey. Shout out to Nipsey Crenshaw. Marathon continues. He said, if you got 10 broke friends, you're gonna be the 11th. So whatever you surround yourself self with, or whoever you surround yourself with, that's gonna rub off on you. It is what it is. Unfortunately, it's just your environment, and that could be people, places. It doesn't just have to be a physical spot, but what's in your environment is going to affect you whether you want to it or not. Obviously, there's going to be exceptions to the rules. Some people just have that fortitude to where they can adapt and they know themselves. I believe that's the reason why they can survive within an environment that isn't the best for them because a lot of people come out of tough environments and reach success. And I commend those people. But unfortunately, in my opinion, for the most of us, it's not as easy. It's not as it's a challenge. It's a challenge. It's a lot more challenging than a lot of us can handle. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to put anyone down or judge anybody, pass judgment on anybody. All I'm saying is when you cut out the negative influences in your environment, you're giving yourself a better chance of clarity, a better chance to have clarity in who you are, what you want to do, and how you want to do it. That knowledge of self. I'm really going through this myself, and I honestly believe it a lot. And I've been in my isolation stage, but when I'm doing this, there's people who are coming into my life that really helping me out, or I'm just more aligned with them than who I was. So your circle should reflect your aspirations. So make sure you're surrounding yourself with great people so you can have great times, have great emotions, great thoughts, and all that. Surround yourself with elevation. It's if there's another saying, but pretty much you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. You know, that's the saying. Because if you're the smartest person in the room, then who are you going to learn from? And that's kind of a business take on things. I don't believe that there's one overall scale of aptitude and intelligence. I think we all have our own way of thinking, which is valuable to anyone you come into contact with. So I just wanted to say that caveat before, um, you know, people start judging me and saying, "Oh, well, who's to say who's the smartest?" Listen, I'm not worried about that. What I'm saying is surround yourself with people that may have experience, knowledge, and information and other skills in areas that you do not, because that will elevate you. Surround yourself with people who you wouldn't mind being like. Surround yourself with people who you look up to. Surround yourself with people who are just good energy. You don't even have to have anything in common, but they just have happiness. They just smile when they come in the room for no reason. You ever meet those people that are just happy all the time? And you just like, I mean, for some of us, it's gonna be like, oh wow, like that really changed my mood. But for others of us, it's going to be like, ugh, she's always so happy. What's she so happy for? I don't know why we do that, y'all. That's the internal work we gotta work on. So yes, yes, moving forward, practice gratitude. This is a big one for me. Appreciate your blessings, including yourself. Ooh, man, a good reminder I set for myself. Gratitude opens doors to more blessings. Practice gratitude. Appreciate your blessings, including yourself. Gratitude opens door to more blessings. Appreciate your blessings. That's pretty straightforward, y'all. There's someone, I think it's Billy Carson. I got his book, and I'm just gonna say the people that I'm influenced by, or I watch or read from, and everyone has their opinion on whoever, but I found people like I said, Nipsey, Billy Carson. I think I may have mentioned the Napoleon Hill book, but I digress. Billy Carson said in one of his books, a lot of us compare up. We're looking at we're keeping up with the Joneses. We're getting on Instagram, we're getting on social media, and we're saying, "Oh man, I want a Rolls Royce and a supercar and condo on the top floor." That's that's where we want to. That's where we see ourselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. And people may have things that you want, and there's nothing wrong with that. And let me say this before I go further into that and put a pin in that. Be grateful for what you have. All right. Appreciate your blessings. So, in order to appreciate your blessings, you have to be able to identify what is your blessing. And a lot of times we take things for granted that we don't even realize is a blessing. And I know people going to say, "Oh, I woke up today. That's a blessing." But it is a blessing, absolutely. But I think sometimes we may just run through the motions of saying that I woke up today. It's a blessing. We have to really appreciate that because gratitude isn't just saying the words, it's actually the emotion. We want to have that feeling of gratitude, that thankfulness, that gratefulness, that appreciation. We want to have that emotion exuding out of us, that and radiating inside of our hearts. That's something that is important. It's not just the words, "Oh, I'm thankful for my mom and dad. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful I have loved ones. Thankful for people." Like, come on now, you going so fast, you can't even really appreciate it. That's like you going to a museum, you're like, "Oh, I like that one. Oh, I like that one. Oh, I like the red." And you like, hold on, let's stop. Let's look at it. Let's look at the frame. Let's look at the canvas. Let's look at the brush strokes. Let's look at the signature on there, how he did this. Let's see how the colors contrast against each other. Let's see the shapes and the designs. Let's really appreciate this because your blessing is a piece of art when you really think about it. It's the things that we have that we can just marvel at, and Just understand that it's ours. So identify your blessings. That's the first step, in my opinion, on how you can appreciate your blessings. You have to identify them. And if that is, you want to say, I'm grateful for waking up today. Well, identify why are you grateful for waking up today? Well, if I didn't get to wake up, I wouldn't be able to see my loved ones. I wouldn't be able to keep chasing after my dreams and my goals. I wouldn't be able to travel and get new experiences. I wouldn't be able to learn more knowledge and wisdom. That to me is a great way to really dive in deeper than the surface of saying I'm grateful for being alive, because we want to really, again, we want to really get that frequency on our heart. We want to experience this feeling, this emotion of gratitude. Now, going back to Billy Carson, what he said, more or less, he said, compare down, don't compare up. And this may be controversial to some of y'all, but I think it's just a logical way to think. When you compare up, oh, I want a Rolls Royce mansion, Bugatti, condo on the top floor, A, B, C, D. You're you feeling of lack. You're coming from a feeling of lack. Not all of us, again, some of us can just appreciate what others have, and it motivate us, or it's inspiring to us. But again, for the majority of us, in my opinion, it can breed some jealousy or envy, and maybe not even knowingly, subconsciously sometimes these emotions take place within us. So compare down, don't compare up. If you're looking at, The Rock, and you see him on a private plane, I don't know why The Rock just came to mind, but The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, you know, you he's doing this, he's doing that, and you're like, man, I'm not there yet. I gotta work harder. Da, da, da. You're beating yourself up. You're putting all this unnecessary stress and all these negative emotions attached to it. Now, comparing down is, you may look at a less fortunate place. It may even be in your own city. You may be driving down the stoplight, you see someone there with a sign asking for help. You know, compare, and I don't believe we should be comparing, but naturally, it's a part of how we think. Unfortunately, fortunately, however you want to look at it, appreciate what you have. When you see somebody out there on the corner with a cardboard sign asking for help, maybe you can't help them, or maybe you don't feel moved to help them. Whatever the case may be, at least appreciate what you have in that moment. Understanding that, hey, I'm here in a car. I'm able to be mobile, whether you're driving or not. If you in the passenger seat, you should be thankful for the person who's driving you in the vehicle they have, and the connections that you have with them. Unless it's in the back of a cop car, then that's another story. But um, really appreciate that. There's people in other countries who live a life that we can't imagine. I went to Mexico, and when I was in Mexico, there was she had to have been 5, less, maybe 6. And she was this young girl, and she was selling, it wasn't chicle, it was some peanut type candy thing that personally I didn't enjoy. I don't really like that candy, but I bought a few of them nonetheless, because I was just in awe at how she was really jigging, y'all. She was out there trapping, man. She was out there getting them peanut candies off, and I'm just like, this is crazy. And it just moved me. It just was just like, wow, like you come back to America, or you come back. I'm not gonna say America. I'm just gonna speak of myself. When I was 6, I was not selling nothing, trying to make no money, trying to do nothing like that. Like not to that extent. Like not in the street with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I might have tried to sell my toys or something. I don't know. I can't remember that far back. 6 years old. No, I don't think I was jigging nothing. I don't think I had a business mind at that point. So when I seen that, it just made me appreciate my childhood. and how fortunate I was. Some people they grow up with no floors, like the floor is the dirt. Some people grow up with no running water. They have to walk to get their water. Some people grow up with no homes or like not a true structure home. You know, it's wild. And I'm kind of weighing the scales on this, but when it comes down to it, you have to appreciate what you have. And what I mean by weighing the scales on it is like I do feel kind of guilty having to look at someone else's life that's less fortunate to me for me to appreciate mine. But at the end of the day, like I said, that's just what it is. Sometimes you need that reminder to even understand, to view it from someone else's perspective, to even realize that we have so much to be thankful for. And it really drives home that emotion part that I'm talking about. Really drives home the emotion and that connection with your heart on how to radiate the feeling of gratitude and exude that appreciation in your energy and your frequency. So compare down, don't compare up. I mean, you can compare how you want to, but when you are able to see how fortunate you are by understanding that there are people less fortunate than you, you you have a deeper appreciation for your own situation than if you do compare to someone up from you. You're not going to have that deep appreciation for what you have versus if you compare to someone who's less fortunate than you. And I'm gonna end this slide with this saying and a quick elaboration. They say that I'm not sure who this quote belongs to, so I'm gonna say they. I don't know who they is, but someone said comparison is the thief of joy. So, in my opinion, what that means is when you're focused on others' lives, on others' achievements, on others' belongings and things and goals, you're missing out opportunities in the present, in the now, to appreciate what you have. So it can be the thief of joy because you're so busy comparing that you don't have an opportunity to feel joy, happiness, appreciation, gratitude, thankfulness, peace with your own situation. So practice gratitude, appreciate your blessings, identify your blessings, including yourself. Gratitude opens doors to more blessings. Mm. So appreciate yourself, yo. That's another one that I didn't get to dive into, and I will quickly right now is appreciate what you do. And if you feel like you're not doing anything, just appreciate that only you are you. No one else can be you. No one's gonna think the way you think. No one's gonna speak the way you speak. No one's gonna be you. Nobody can be more you than you. Gratitude opens doors to more blessings. Now, this is something that I definitely identify with deeply because when you start to appreciate and show gratitude, it just starts pouring in more blessings in your life because a lot of the times we're not opening up our hearts. We're not opening up our hearts. We're sitting here thinking about what we don't have. And when you open your heart and think about what you what you have, it just brings in more blessings. So let's move on to the next slide. Take care of your temple. Your body is the vehicle for your success. Prioritize your physical and mental well-being. You know what? When I read this, I think of breath. Okay. When I think of breath, I think of consciousness. I don't mean like some esoteric awareness type. I'm not that too, but what I'm thinking about is literally being conscious, like being able to move, see, breathe. When you breathe or when you stop breathing, what happens? You go unconsciousness. You go unconscious. You go unconsciousness. You go unconscious when you stop breathing. So when you're breathing, you're literally breathing in consciousness. So tying it back to take care of your temple, your body is your vehicle for success. What's the best way to get more oxygen inside your body? Is exercise, y'all. Your physical well-being. Okay. And when you take time to breathe, be still and breathe, what else do? You're taking care of this mental well-being because a lot of the anxiety comes from a lack of oxygen intake. You know, we have to be able to breathe so we can see and think correctly. There's a technique that the Marines practice called box breathing, where you take 4 seconds to inhale, you hold it for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, and then you hold your exhale for 4 seconds. And they do this about 6 to 7 times. And it's a technique that they're taught in the Marines to calm their nerves, lower their heart rate, and it's done typically on like a mission or something like that that is nerve wracking because when your heart rate is up, most likely you're gonna release that cortisol, which is that fight or flight chemical in your brain. I'm not a scientist, I'm just going off of memory. So, I do like to include that aspect of science into these conversations. But I digress. Breathing is good for your physical and your mental well being. It's good for your physical because when you're breathing, you're giving your brain oxygen. And when you're giving your brain oxygen, to me, it's like I always visually seen it as you opening up the windows for your house and you just letting the stale air or like you ever go to your car on a hot day. Like I got in the car with somebody who it was on a hot day and they just turned the AC on. I'm like, yo, you don't want to like roll the windows down, let that hot air out, even if, and I know it's hot outside, but at least let it be a fresh hot air you're getting in here. And they was like, oh, I never thought about that. And then they turn off the AC and they let the fresh air come in. And if you ever in a room or your house, like you may be in the house for the weekend or in your room for the weekend and just not really doing much. And maybe you do leave, you go in the kitchen, you make your food, you're out your room for like maybe 30 minutes to an hour, cooking, eating downstairs in your dining room, and then you go back to your room that you was in for majority of the time of the weekend. You're like, oh, hold on, it smelled kind of like hold on, let me open this window, get some fresh air in here. Now, I'm not saying anyone's dirty or musty or anything like that, but that's just what it is. As humans, we got pheromones and androgens and all that kind of stuff. I think I said that word right. Um, androgen. I might look that up, but nonetheless, that's how I see it with breathing, and that's my favorite part about exercising is when your heart rate is up, you're getting that blood cycling. That's like if a river is stagnant, it's going to build up bacteria and things of that nature. But if you have running water, it's never going to give a chance for those germs and bacteria to grow as rapidly, as fast. I'll say, because you still can get sick from drinking river water and streams. You just gotta. That's a survival um, topic that I'm not too well versed in. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. But nonetheless, if it's running water, more likely that it's gonna be healthier than if you have some stagnant water. So same thing with your blood. Your blood's stagnant. I'm not. It's not gonna be stagnant because blood is always pumping through you. But you see the metaphor. You see the analogy I'm trying to make here, y'all. You pumping that blood. You cycling it more because your heart rate's up. Your heart's pumping. It's getting that blood to cycle through your body. And when you breathe in, you're just like you letting the windows open of your stuffy room, your stuffy car. You letting that fresh air come in. You get more clarity, in my opinion. So I believe exercise is the best modality for mental and physical well-being. And it don't even I don't mean lifting weights. I do believe we should be doing some form of resistance training though, but going on a walk, my new thing is trying to do 10,000 steps a day. That's been my new thing. And for one, I don't like doing cardio. Cardio is not my thing unless it's like a hit training, high interval intensity training, high intensity interval training. I like to do those sometimes, but typically I'll try to get the cardiovascular part of my workout by having shorter rest times. But I digress. And I said it like 3 times. I like saying that, y'all. Take care of your temple, okay? So there's a lot of different facets to taking care of your temple, and I believe I'm going to go through some of these slides deeper. Like I may take the overall overarching meaning of a slide and dig into it deeper. This one I can go in so much on taking care of your temple, from what you eat to what you consume visually, what you're watching. So many different parts of this. Your body is the vehicle of your success. Prioritize your physical and mental well being. So, again, y'all, I think it all starts with staying still and getting that air, breathing in that air. That's a great way to start taking care of your temple because that's going to allow you to stay still, get clarity, and be aware of what is the I don't want to say problem, the perceived problem with your physical and your mental. When you take that time to stay still, it goes a long way to understanding yourself more. So be still. Be still, y'all. Be still and take inventory of your body, of your mind, and its well being. So that's all I have for y'all today. I appreciate it for tuning in. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that. Y'all know what to do. Tell me what your favorite slide was. We'll be back. We got 3 more slides to go, and we're going to complete this self love mind mastery series. So I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.